Hey guys, so today we're going to look at solving multi-step equations. So a lot of the standards are the same as what we were using yesterday, but we're just going to use more steps to solve these equations. All right, so the success criteria: apply, solve, and write multi-step equations. So this is what you need to be successful today. Remember, creating equations, you have to be able to write multi-step equations from real life situations. So towards the end, we'll get to those. So make sure you stick around for all the examples. All right, so let's look at a few examples now. Example 1, 2.5, x minus 13 equals 2. So if you look, you'll see that the variable is x, so we are solving for x in number 1. And so the first thing we need to do is get rid of the negative 13. So if you remember order of operations, you always say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and you do parentheses, exponents, you multiply and divide, and then you add and subtract. Well, solving equations, you're undoing that process. So we're going to undo addition and subtraction before we would undo multiplication and division, unless there are parentheses. Then there's a few other rules. But so number 1, the first thing we're going to do is add 13 to both sides. So we're going to have 2.5 x. The negative 13 and 13 cancel. 2 plus 13 is 15. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2.5. And x equals 15 divided by 2.5 is 6. And then you can plug that in to see if it works. So 2.5 times 6 minus 13 equals 2. And when you check that, it does work. All right, let's look at number 2. Negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. So you should see that there are two variables and they're on the same side of the equation. So let's bring down our negative 12. And then because these are on the same side, you combine like terms. Okay, if they were on different sides, you do the inverse operation. But these are on the same side of the equal sign, same side of the equation. That means you combined them together. So 9x minus 6x is going to be 3x plus 15. So you combine them together, but you still have to be aware of the positive and the negative as well. All right, so we're still solving for x. Don't forget where the variable is. So we're going to subtract 15. So we have negative 12 minus 15 is negative 27. And then negative 27 equals, we got to bring our 3x down. And then we divide by 3. 3's cancel. X equals negative 27 divided by 3, negative 9. And again, you would want to plug this in very quickly. Let's pull up the calculator here. Well, wants to move on me. All right, so let's hit clear. So what we're going to do is just plug the negative 9 in for x in both places here. So we're just going to plug the right side of the equation in and see if we get that it equals negative 12. So 9 times, let's put our negative 9 in parentheses. Well, minus 6 times negative 9. Should be able to do this in your head as well, but just want to show you that you can quickly plug this in and check it. So if I just substitute my solution into my x value, I get negative 12. It says that equals negative 12, so I know that I got the correct answer. All right, number 3, negative 2x minus 10x. They're on the same side, so I'm going to have negative 12x Again, we're combining like terms. Plus 12 equals 18 minus 12. And 18 minus 12 is 6. Divide both sides by negative 12. All right, so here, 6 divided by negative 12. The smaller number is on top. Remember, when you're dividing fractions, you can reduce, but this is not negative 2. This is 1/2, negative 1/2. So the smaller number is on top. Reduce both by 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 12 2 times. So that reduces to negative 1/2 there. A lot of times students get confused and they know that reduces, but they'll reduce it to negative 2 instead of negative 1/2. Remember, when the smaller number, if the number in the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then it's going to reduce to a fraction. All right, number 4, negative 21.5 equals 1/2 c minus 11. So this time my variable is c. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. So I've got negative 21.5, and then I'm going to add 11 to that, and that's going to give me negative 10.5. And that equals 1/2 c. All right, to get rid of a fraction, I've got 1/2 times c. So that's multiplication. You think division, but you don't want to divide by a fraction. A fraction divided by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal is 2 over 1, and that's the same thing as 2. So 1/2 of 2 is just c, which is what we're trying to do, get the variable by itself. And then negative 10.5 times 2, so I'm just going to double that, which is negative 21. And again, for 3 and 4, you just take the x, you substitute it in to check it. I feel confident with the math here, so I'm going to move on just because of time, saving time on the video here. All right, the next examples, we're going to use distributive property because we do have parentheses. So if you remember, distributive property says if you have real numbers A, B, and C, and you have A times parentheses B plus C, you're going to multiply A times B and A times C. So you can see that here. You also can have a difference. So if it has a plus or a minus, still use distributive property by multiplying A times B and A times negative C, which would give you the negative there. All right, so let's try a few examples here. All right, so we've got 2 times 1, 2 times negative x. 2 times negative x would be negative 2x, and then plus 3 equals negative 8. All right, so our 2 and our 3 do not have variables, but they're on the same side, so we can combine them. Combine like terms. 2 and 3 make 5, minus 2x equals negative 8. Now it looks like the equations from the last page, so just subtract 5. That's a positive 5, so I'm going to subtract 5 to get rid of it. So I'm going to be left with 2x equals negative 8 minus 5 would be negative 13. Divide by negative 2. X equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 2 goes into 12 6 times and 1/2 left over. So 6 and 1/2 or 6.5 would be the answer. All right, again, you can take 6.5 and you can plug it in, and you should be able to check it to see if that is correct. All right, the next one says 3 times x. It's just 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 6 equals negative 9. All right, we're going to combine like terms, so bring down our 3x. Positive 3 and positive 6, 3 and 6 make 9, equals negative 9. I've got a plus 9. Inverse operation is negative, So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 3x equals negative 9 plus negative 9 is negative 18. Divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 6. Again, you can plug this in and check it. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Negative 15 plus 6 is negative 9. So either quickly mentally check it or write it down, plug it in your calculator, whatever. It's just a good habit. Kind of check those. There's never a reason why you should get an equation wrong. All right, so the next one says 17 equals 7 plus 4 times 2.2d minus 8.5. So we're going to use distributive property again. So let's bring down the 17 equals 7. 4 times 2.2 is going to be 8.8d. And then 4 times negative 8.5 is going to be negative 34. All right, so we've got a positive 7 and a positive 34, and that's going to give us 41. So I can go ahead and put 41 plus 8.8d. So all I did was combine the 7 and the negative 34. Oh, wait a minute, that's a negative 34. So 7 minus 34 is negative 27. All right, so I did that incorrectly. That's a reason you would want to check it at the end if you don't catch that when you're doing it. All right, so 7 minus 34, or 7 plus negative 34 is negative 27. All right, so I'm going to add 27 to both sides. And 27 plus 17 is 44. And that's going to equal 8.8d. Divide both sides by 8.8. 44 divided by 8.8 is 5. So d equals 5. All right, so we can plug that in and check it. I'm going to use my calculator here. So I got 7 plus 4 times 2.2 times 5. Plug the 5 in for d, and then subtract 8.5, close my parentheses, and I get 17. So when you check it, that does work out. Thankfully, I caught the mistake as I was working it out. All right, we are going to move on to some word problems, so come back for the next video so that you can learn how to write equations.